Well, considering that he is one of the top fantasy football experts in the country, now it's time for our NFL insider, Jake Ciely, to give us some insight on that. So, Jake, the end is near for fantasy football players. Any tips as we move closer to championship week?
Yeah, let's say trust the guys who got you here, but that's not a blanket 100% of the time. At this point, Russell Wilson might have gotten you here, but he's not winning games for you at this point. So I would say the elite players, the top crust of the NFL, are the guys that you trust to get you here. But it's the last game, and maybe some people are playing week 17, but it's the championship game. Just go for it at this point. You don't, if you're having a tough decision between two players and you think one has the ceiling to put up 100 yards and a touchdown as a wide receiver or a running back, to put him in your lineup because there's only one game left. There's nothing left to lose.
What were the biggest surprises in this fantasy season?
I would say surprises is plural, as in multiple players at the same position. I think the surprise has been the success of the rookie quarterback this year. We expected Joe Burrow to be impressive, not that impressive before he got hurt. Nobody was thinking that Justin Herbert was going to be much of a factor until late in the season, but then the Tyrod Taylor thing opened the injury opened things up for Herbert, and Herbert's been terrific. And now, as we've seen, Jalen Hurts is all of a sudden the thing just within 2 games. So I think the success of rookie quarterbacks took everybody by surprise this year, and it's exciting to see because we get Trevor Lawrence next year, who's going to be the #1 pick.
All right, you mentioned Jalen Hurts. He was the #1 scoring quarterback last week. Can you trust him in your championship game?
I think you can. There's only about 5 or 6 quarterbacks at this point that I would start over him. And like I said, those are the elites, those are the top crust. Because one thing that's so good about him that I've mentioned to you in the last show last week is that he runs. That's what's so appealing for fantasy purposes. A quarterback that runs scores more than the passing yards, and he also gives you a floor, which means he's got a decent amount of points already built in. So you just saw how well he passed last week and has another nice matchup this game. I would say that he's going to be in play as a top 5, 6, at worst 7 quarterback this week.
Well, and finally, this week, is it too late to have sleepers?
It's not. A lot of these players you just might have had on your bench and been playing mix and match with them. So if you're looking at wide receiver, that's kind of where I want to go sleepers at running back at this point. Play the guys that you can trust. But at wide receiver, Marvin Jones has one single-digit performance, and he faced a tough matchup against the Packers in that game. He's been great, scoring a lot of touchdowns for the Lions. A great matchup this week. And then the one that might be deeper, in case you have a wide receiver injury or you're really getting desperate, Rashard Higgins for the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield is playing terrific right now, and Higgins and Jarvis Landry has been as basically 1A and 1B. If you need wide receiver help, another good matchup for the Browns this week as well.
All right, thanks, Jake. We'll be back for your final thoughts about Sunday's game.